Alright guys, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be trying to do some inletting of the lock and the butt plate. I'm going to be trying to work around the GoPro here instead of wearing it on my head. What we're going to do, we're going to take some of our inletting material here, this Prussian blue stuff. This is a fresh tube. We're going to go ahead and we're going to stab it with the lid. You know how long it took me to realize you could do that? I was a grown-ass man by the time. Yeah, not my proudest thing. And we don't need much, just enough to mark the high spots. We're not gonna bother inletting this right here. We're gonna go around. Hell. Just gonna go around the edge, letting down inletting fluid wherever there might be a high spot that we might want to take some of the wood down. Just get a little bit of a fit and see where we need to take away wood. Because if we don't have a snug fit, then it's not going to look all right. And if we take away too much wood, then it's going to look even worse. Don't tell me it's soaking up all the... That should be okay. Should be. But just in case, we're gonna have that on standby. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna just set it into the recess. Kind of not really shove it in, but just give everything a nice little up. Come on. You don't want to shove everything in there and force it, but it's looking like we're gonna have to do some trimming because nothing's wanting to fit in where it should. We're gonna have to take that out of there. I don't know if you can see that. We'll use this one. This right here, that's got to go. And we're gonna wipe this way and try again. Now, when you're inletting, you don't want to take away massive amounts of material at a time, because that's bad. And when you do that, doesn't give you a chance to get a proper fit for anything. It's just like what am I looking for here? It's like when you're trying to tailor a suit. You take away too much, then you don't have a chance to get a good fit. And I'm just putting this inletting fluid around. Well, not fluid. My stuff. My marking stuff. Just putting it around somewhere the high. So this is actually my first time using this stuff. On my previous muzzleloader builds, I just kind of shaved a little bit everywhere and went from there. Now I'm thinking using a Q-tip might not be the best choice. It's looking like we gotta shave off some stuff in here. Now, this could be a long process. I'm not gonna make you guys watch the whole thing. Just enough to get a general idea of what I'm doing. Just mark it up, press it in there, take away the colored spots, take away the high spots. I'm going to work over here first before I start working back here, just because when we press it in there, we're not getting a good matchup up here, and we're got it hanging out over here. So we're going to work up here first and see what we can get figured out. Alright guys, so what I ended up doing, I ended up trimming this out so that this little recess could sit in here. That sits right next to the hole for the retention screw for the lock plate. And one screw goes there and one screw goes there. You can see those holes here and here. Let's see if we can get you in there. See if you can. Yeah, that hole there and that hole there. This little recess here, that is actually for the sear here. Well, yeah, okay, so this gets tripped by the trigger, which releases the sear, which releases the lock, which hits the percussion cap, which ignites the powder. Yeah, if you know how a muzzleloader works, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm not on top of my game right now thinking about this. I'm just trying to get this done. All right, now that we've got the lock inlet, we're gonna flip it over. We're gonna dig into our little bag of bits. We're gonna dig out the lock screws and the lock washers. And we're not gonna crush them down nice and tight, because that just wouldn't work out very well. We're just gonna keep things nice and loose so we don't end up breaking anything. We don't want to crush it into place. We just want things snug. A little long enough? Yeah, there we go. Alright, so for some of this brass cleanup work, like my toe plate, my butt plate, they don't really need a whole lot of cleanup. Like, I'm gonna clean up some of these edges a little bit, just kind of clear off some of that grittiness from the casting, because these are cast pieces. This is brass. My toe plate doesn't really need a whole lot of cleanup. The trigger guard, I'm going to be cleaning up these edges for the casting. There's a little bit of flash going on right in here, so I'm going to see if I can knock that down. Let's get the right file. There's a little bit of flashing right in here, and we're going to see if we can take that out of there. A lot of guys are saying, oh, it's not a big deal. It seems kind of trivial to be taking out such a small amount of brass that no one's really going to be looking at anyway. But you know what? A little bit of cleanup work goes a long, long way. If you take the time to clean that out of there, take the time, just a little bit of cleanup work on all your projects. It goes a long way. It shows that you're putting the effort into what you're doing. And it just goes a really long way. I probably should grab the diamond file for this. The triangle. Ah, there it goes. So you see how much smoother that looks? How much nicer that looks without that chunk of flashing in there? It just looks so much better. So much nicer to have nice, smooth lines going through your workpiece. Now, I'm not going to make you watch this whole cleanup period. I'm just going to be knocking down the rest of this flashing and then cleaning up these casting lines with some sandpaper and a sanding block. Just get everything nice and polished up, and well, not really polished. I'm not putting a mirror polish on this. Just enough to get smooth. Now for the sanding on this brass, I'm not doing anything special. I'm just taking some 180 grit sandpaper, some belt cloth, and I'd round a little piece of 2x4, and just gonna clean up some of these edges, just get a nicer fit. And it doesn't really, you could say it doesn't matter, since this is going to be pressed into here on the buttstock. It's going to sit right in there, and it's going to get screwed into place, and I'm going to be filing the stock to profile around it. But since I'm going to try to get these lines flowing as nicely as I can with this kit, I'm going to be trying to get rid of some of these nastier casting lines, some of this grittiness from the sand casting. Just to smooth things up a little bit. Because smoothness is nice. Alright guys, so for some of this brass cleanup, you're probably wondering what I'm doing. All I'm doing is I'm taking the sanding block, and I've got some 180 grit sandpaper on here. And I'm just running it over. You see, I don't know if my camera can pick it up, but I've got this rough line of casting marks all along the rim, and I don't want to have that on there when I start inletting this butt plate to the stock. I want a nice clean inletting line. So we're going to see if we can knock off a whole lot of those cast marks, and you can see just with 180 grit sandpaper, I've knocked those pretty smooth. I'm not looking for a perfectly flat surface. Just something to give me a nice, smoother line. Alright guys, now that the stock is all set, we've got our 2 retention screws mounted. We've got the lock ready to go. It's time to start inletting the butt cap and the toe plate. Toe plate's going to be fit right there. The butt cap's going to be sitting right there. We're going to do the butt plate first. And, well, we're going to see where that goes. I wish they didn't just slice off this whole chunk back here. I really wish they would keep that material there. This right here, just so we have that bit of material for that to mate to. Just because it would look so much better. Overall, with how little material we actually have here, I'm thinking we're just gonna inlet just a little bit of this edge so it sits nice and flush and screw it in place. And we'll see where that goes. Alright, for this next bit, for inletting the stock for the butt plate on this arch here, all I did was I applied a little bit of my inletting material on the arch, and I set it on there. So I'm not wearing the GoPro on my face right now, so my camera angles are a little bit shitty, you know. That's kind of what it is. I just took a hammer and I just tapped it against the wood, and the inletting fluid left a nice clear outline where that inside arch needs to sit on top of the wood to secure the butt plate in place to help support that brass. And it marked where I need to start taking away material. So we're going to start getting in on that. Okay guys, I just wanted to point something out real quick with this kit. So I'm inletting the lower half of the buttstock. Almost all the material I've had to remove has been on this side. These are cast parts. Like this is cast brass. You can see, like, with the inletting fluid, I've still got to relieve a little bit over here, but almost all the material I've had to remove to get a nice snug fit on this butt plate has been here on the right hand side. I don't know why that is. That's just how it came to me from the factory, but it does go to show that if you do things, you know, as close to right as you can and take things slow, you're gonna get a much better fit. This rocked up and down, side to side like none other, and I've got a nice snug fit on there now. I've still got a carveaway just a little bit over here, but for the most part I've got a nice good fit on there. Alright, I've got the stock flipped over in the clamp, and we're going to measure out how much toe plate we need to cut off. We want it to match up as close to up here as possible. We're going to be taking it off back here. And you know what? We're going to end up squaring that off. We're going to be drilling holes for the screw plates. Looks like we're going to be cutting it off right about there. And we're going to be filing this to match the contour of, yeah, maybe right around there. We're going to cut that off or file that off. Either way, that's going to go bye-bye. We're going to straighten this out, drill these holes, and file this to match the contour of the butt plate. Just a little closer. When we start shaping the buttstock, we're gonna use a little bit of wood filler. Yeah, a little bit of wood filler, and start filling in some of these corners so we can get a nicer overall profile. Alright guys, so for this toe plate, we are just about there on the length. And I'm going to clean up some of these burrs, and then I'm just going to cut back the wood just a little bit and see if we can get that to just drop in nice and tight. Actually, you know what? Now we're going to go ahead and screw that in, and we're going to contour these corners here just a little bit. Where's my punch? Just going to mark these screw holes. Clean up some of these burrs. And all this brass is going to get polished later on in the build anyway. So I'm not too worried about any scratch marks or anything. It's just not much of a concern. Because it's my gun. I ain't selling this gun. And honestly, this gun's probably going to be hanging on the wall, looking pretty and not doing a whole lot. I mean, I will. I might take this thing hunting, you know, eventually. But for now, it's just going to be a pretty little mantelpiece. I'm going to clean up these here. And with that, so there we go. That's once we start polishing the brass, that'll get polished and it'll, I mean, I would have loved it if this was all one continuous piece and I could have shaped the stock entirely instead of having these pre-inlet forming. But it was a free gun kit from school, so I'm not going to complain too much. That's all I've got for this video for you guys.